And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back into the Dragon's Den. My name's Digital Dragon, and I'm a 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch. See a lot of familiar faces in here. Good morning, Mr. Wizix. Hey, Rexbin. Good morning, Lost Inc. Um, Tech Jeeper, Iconic Fab. Welcome on in. Hey, Stephen Poole. How's it going? So if you guys were here on the last stream, you will know that the X1 carbon over here that you can see is a lot brighter in that chamber than this one right here. Uh, we did a lot of upgrades over there. Went through and we put a Panda extruder, which is the skeletonized CNC aluminum extruder housing. We put the Panda Claw, which is a full metal anodized, or not anodized, but full metal nano coated extruder gear setup. We also put on the Panda Jetpack, which is the uh, better cooling duct, we'll say, gives more consistent cooling around the hot end. And speaking of the hot end, we replaced that with a Fadis Conk Plus hot end with a silicon carbide tip and an encoded throat and heat break. Uh, so far, we've been doing some printing with that. And I did a couple of prints, one using our cool bed and another using the textured plate. We'll bring it up over here on the other screen shortly. But hopefully today, actually, I know today, the order from Voxel is going to show up, and that will have the carbon HEPA filters for the X1 carbons that I ordered, as well as a bento box. And we'll be doing one more round of upgrades on this machine where we're going to install a chamber heater and a bento box. Um, and the bento box is going to add a little bit more overkill to it. But considering the fact that I'm going to be planning on printing polycarbonate CF, a lot of nylon CF in that machine, I want to make sure that I've got the best filtration possible because, well, it does sit in here. This is my office. So I work out of here all the time. Good morning, Eagle. Welcome in. Hey, Rob C, Quantum Assembler. Welcome in. Um, so yeah, after doing that, I think there's a few more of those upgrades that are going to wind up over in this X1 carbon. It's already rocking a conch, which has the silicon carbide tip. It just doesn't have the encoded throat and heat break. Excuse me. But this one has been primarily my PLA printer. Um, some PETG, a little bit of ABS and stuff, not a lot. But I'm thinking I may do the same upgrades to this as far as all the Panda upgrades. I'm not sure if I'll put the heater and a bento box in this. We'll see down the road if I need to expand some engineering capable printers. Uh, hey, Bob Ross, welcome on in. Does the vent box have its own filter system? Yes, the bento box does have its own filter system. I have one down on my Trident 350 downstairs that I built myself. This one's going to be provided by, or not provided by, but purchased as a full kit with printed parts from Voxel Lab. It is 40/20 or 40/28 fans, a dual 40/20 or 40/28 fans um, with carbon filtration and a HEPA filter. And what that is going to do is we'll have the heater blowing out one side, kind of up and over, and the bento box is going to be pulling air down and then out the bottom. So it's going to provide good circulation of that heat to help heat that chamber up quickly and more efficiently. And it's basically what Ember Prototypes is set up on all of his machines that he does a lot of engineering stuff on. And I need that because I have been doing nylon, I have been doing polycarbonate on this machine. and I need to make sure that I have proper filtration in here for that. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Oh, yes. And good morning, Da Vinci. Welcome on in. For those of you that, well, looked at the description title and saw some things on Twitter, uh, we have set the date for our streamiversary. Streamiversary is going to be set for, was out of the way, January 18th. It's our standard Saturday stream, which means it's going to be in 2 weeks. We're going to have lots of giveaways. We're going to start at the normal time at 10 a.m. Eastern and kind of go through things from there. Hey, good morning, Retro Maker. Welcome in. So yes, lots of hype. This is our 2-year streamiversary on Twitch. Yes, I have been doing this for 2 years now. We've got some giveaways from West 3D. So we got, what do we have? We've got gift cards from West 3D. I believe it was 5. I don't want to misspeak, so let me see if I still have my spreadsheet. West 3D, we have 5 $20 gift cards. Polymaker is letting me give away 10 spools of filament. Normal rules apply. If you're in Canada or US, you'll get a coupon code, and you can go out there and order stuff directly from the site. So if it's a less expensive roll, get a couple of rolls, and you get your full amount there. KB3D is coming in with 2 $50 gift cards, a $100 gift card, 5 CNC Kitchen deburring tools, and 2 sets of reamers. So if you're not familiar with those, the reamers will not only have, I believe it's 8 reamers in the set. In fact, I think I have it down here. It's 8 reamers in a set, as well as this really cool laser cut box for them that's got all the sizes on there. Full little reamer set there. So the bottom has KB3D's logo on it. So it's a nice little set. So we'll have 2 of those to give away. Now on the gift cards, they're worldwide. On the physical products, so the deburring tools and the reamers, they're US only. This is what I'm getting from the vendors. The gift cards from West 3D and the spools from Polymaker are all worldwide. Fadus is providing 2 Apis 2 extruders for the giveaway. So I'm waiting for a response back from them, but I believe those are going to be anywhere where they normally ship. Okay. Fabrico has agreed to provide stuff. I do not have a list or a response yet back from Hector of what all they're providing. I have reached out to a couple of other vendors to see if they're willing to jump on the boat here for this one. And then LDO Motors. LDO Motors is providing a Smart Orbiter V3, a 4-piece set of LDO Speedy Power stepper motors, and wait for it, an LDO box turtle kit. Now, that said, the LDO stuff is US only. Once again, this is, the vendors are providing those restrictions because they're shipping the products directly to you all. Okay? So it's the vendors. That one's not on me. That box is a nice touch out. Yes, it really is. It gives you something to put them in to keep them from getting knocked over and make them readily available. And it's just a nice little laser etched box. that he cuts out himself there at the shop. So, let's see. There are two other items and things that can be unlocked during the stream. And these are coming directly from me. Okay. I haven't decided fully yet on what the tiers are, but I will tell you that if we get a level 10 hype train, if we complete a level 10 hype train, okay? Let me switch the screen here so you guys see the words that are coming out of my mouth. If we complete a level 10 hype train during the Twitch anniversary stream, okay? One, I'm going to take a tablespoon bite of Pex Pepper's spicy habanero salsa, right? So I know Zombie is aware of this one. I did that when I first got the test batch, and Oof is right. I just, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be a great salsa. I grabbed a spoon out of the kitchen drawer. Didn't even pay attention. Like I literally just pulled it out of the box. I'm like, I got to try this. Open it up, grabbed a tablespoon, and down the hatch it went. And yeah, that there's hotter stuff, right? There is hotter stuff, and I do have some hotter stuff I believe that I got in. But yeah, it was a wake up. We'll put it that way. The other thing that's going to do is unlock US only, because this is coming from me and I'm shipping this. It's going to unlock a Solval SV06. Not the new Ace version, but a Solval SV06. So that's the one that it's basically a melding the stepchild or the offspring of an Ender and Prusa Mark III. It is a good printer. The SV06 is one of the printers that they got right. The SV06 Ace just improved upon it, right? The reason I say it's a blending of those two, it's got the look and feel of a Prusa Mark III, right? But it's got the Ender 3 size bed. So it's a little bit smaller bed than you would get on a Mark III. But those are very solid printers. Everybody, let me caveat this. I've never had one. I've never used one, but everybody I know that has one, that is one of the better line or printers out of the lineup. They had a couple of misses. I think the SV07 was not the greatest. The SV06, the SV06 Plus, the SV08, those seem to be the, I'll say, the great releases from Solval so far, that everybody seems to talk about, right? So there we go. I've actually got two of those printers. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to release both of them during the Twitch anniversary, and it partly depends on how many other people get on board, right? Comes with the Creality 422 board, so you can compile the MRISCOC firmware for it or clipper it. Yeah, it's very easy to clipperize that. So that's the big thing. That was the big announcement today, is getting that out there to everybody. You will note that there's nothing on there about those extra unlocks, right? Those are going to be talked about here. It can be talked about in the Discord, but that's part of the hype, the background hype that I want to get out there. I'm not going to put that out here on this announcement slide. The announcement slide will be updated if I get other people on board. Like I said, I have reached out to a couple of other people. Zombie, if you think they're interested and could put me in contact with the Pex Pepper folks, please do. and I need to respond to your email um, so that we can talk about that box turtle, because the other box turtles I have here were beta builds, so I want to reprint the parts and bring it to the latest set of parts. And I may order, or not may, but I will order the couple of other parts to do the new um, in-stop switches and bearings. So if I'm going to be reprinting the parts, let me know what colors you want. And we'll talk about that. I heard we are streaming Marvel Rivals. No, no, no. Um, there may be some game streams here or there in the future. I do enjoy gaming occasionally. I just need to, I guess, really talk to some people and make sure I can set my rig up. I have no idea how to set it up to stream games. I'm sure Evil Diesel can help me out there. I don't know why I just changed that, because a couple of other things that we would like to talk about, or I would like to talk about. Bring that down and bring this up. Is Zombie Hedgehog Games. Oh, well, hello, Zombie. Looking like you're jumping in with your second account there. It's an imposter? Could be. I don't know. Possibly. So this is kind of a list of things that I've got in the back of my head right now. And I really want your all's input on maybe some, we'll say, order of operations. What kind of order do we want to do some of these things in? And are there things that you may want to see on this list for 2025? Things that the community's interested in. I know that's something that Zombie likes to do as well, as he likes to do builds that are interesting to him, but also interesting to the community. I say you rebuild the box turtle first. Well, I will probably do that one off stream, Zombie. I would do that one off stream. And I did double check. I do have the two AFC light boards. I did buy AFC light boards, so I'm going to be swapping out the Big Tree Tech MMB and going with the AFC light. So I want to make it as close to a LDO kit sans a Digital Dragon cut frame, like cut extrusions. But I will reprint all the parts to the latest version, because I really, really like the new respooler wheel design, because I think I am getting some slipping on some of my others. So I will be replacing the respooler wheels on all of my previous builds to those at the very least. Hey, Iconic Fab, how's it going? Love the headset on the Hedgehog, nice touch. Yeah, there you go. So some of the things that you see here from a build and stuff like that we've got going on. We've got the rat rig build that's in progress. We're basically at a stopping point until I get the spindle, right? I've got to get the spindle from rat rig before I can go any further on that build, unfortunately. There's a part of me that was like, hey, let me see if I can order a spindle from KB3D. But then I'm going to have to do some refitting, or leave that KB3D spindle on the rat rig and, use the one I get from rat rig somewhere else. I don't know, maybe on the Shapeoko. Who knows? Upgrades. Some of the upgrades that we have coming up. Sorry, I needed some coffee. We've got in fact, let me turn that on so you can still see me. We've got the Bamboo X1C heater and bento box. I will caveat this, right? When I go to do those upgrades, I believe those technically void the warranty, right? Those upgrades will be noticeable. So if I ever have to send that printer back, like today with everything, all the Panda stuff that we put in, right? We could swap that back out. So if this printer ever had a major issue and we had to send it back to Bambu Lab because something big broke or the board fried or whatever, I would have to go and bring that back to stock basically before I send it out to them, right? As soon as you start doing things like the heater and stuff, I think they are going to show some type of additional wear in the printer that, or something. So we'll have to be mindful of that. Iconic fact: remember the rig you're designing the Meanwell 350K? Cool. And I also saw, was there a like an X gantry that you were building to go along with that, so it would make it a lot easier to um like set up and do a full electronics bench testing, if I remember right. Um yeah, I'm definitely looking at some more of that stuff. Let's see. We can add that on here. Um um we can put that. Iconic Fab. Let's list that as updates and add-ons. So we've got the Bambu Lab. We've got the RatRig VCore 4 IDEX upgrade that we're going to do over here. When we go to do that, one, yes, I need to clean the printer off. There's horizontal spaces and they have collected crap. So I need to clean that stuff off. I swear to God, I have been printing with this printer, even with all the crap in here. So trust me, I do print with it still. So the mill, because we can't work on it right now, I'm going to take the x-axis is going to come off so I can move the darn thing easier and not kill myself taking it down the stairs. And I will take this out to the shed with the Milo until I get shipment notification of the spindle, or I decide to go and get the spindle from KB3D. Because I plan on doing the IDEX upgrade literally right there. We'll bring the camera over here as best as we can, and we're going to work the IDEX upgrade right here. If anything, I might be able to move this a little bit more forward. We'll see. Because I've got to take the side panels off, I don't necessarily think I need to take the top panel off. I shouldn't have to. But, the door, of course, does come off. The side panels will come off. And we'll be working on the printer physically to add the other stuff. It makes zero sense for me to try and move this from here up onto the bench and try and do that work. So we're going to keep it right there. I may get Evil Diesel over here to help me. Maybe we move it kind of over here into this area and do the work right here. But it's staying on that bench regardless. We're not moving that. This is on wheels. We can move that out of the way. That's no big deal. But we'll do the IDEX upgrade on here. We've got the Ender XY triple lead screw mod. Okay. So for those that are not familiar, and I just realized I go back to this. Which rails, Zombie? Are you talking about the DIN rails for the rig? Because technically you can make it as long or short as you want. I believe what I did was like standard DIN rail lengths for, I don't know, I'll double check and measure which ones I cut mine to. Yeah, exactly. There you go. About 20 inches. Because once again, it's going to give you the room to do lots of test fitting and testing of things. So we'll talk about my setup here in 1 second. And like I said, it's constantly shifting. I just want to kind of go through this list real fast. So we've got the Ender XY triple lead screw. I've got the parts printed. What that's going to look like is right here. This is Super Vitax or Super Vitax. He's the one that came up with this mod, and it basically changes a lot on the actual bed mount itself and adds the third lead screw to the back. Okay, so here's the back. There's this big plate that mounts to the two bed mounting screws in the back and creates that third mount point. Where's the front? There's the mount for the motor. The lead screw is constrained with a ball or a bearing at the top. Looks like a standard 608. And then the front rails here are different as well. So this I think is going to stabilize, because the issue is the bed rocks front to back. So along the x-axis, it'll rock the way it's currently designed. So we're going to go through and do this mod. I do have the parts printed out. I've just been neglecting to get it up here onto the bench and redoing it. We're probably going to have to rebrain the darn thing and do a couple of other things like that. So that's one of the reasons why we've been holding off that. And we've had so many other things that we've been working on, right? So not a lot to go here. I will verify I've got all the parts here, which I should have. I've got enough Ender parts here. So we'll make that swap out happen sooner rather than later. Freedom units is not your virtue, yeah. The Trident 350, once again, that's sitting downstairs. I will figure out how to bring that. I may take the panels off just to make it lighter before I bring it up here. That, and it'll be easier to grab hold of things as I bring it upstairs. But we've got the Cyborg CNC all-wheel drive kit for it. And that will also convert it to 9mm belts. We'll have to do some filing on the rear lead screw upright in order to clear the rails, or not the rails, the belts. And when we do that, we're going to swap it over to a takeoff tool head by, I was going to say Luke's Lab. It's not Luke's Lab. Give me a second. I'm actually going to pull it up because I cannot remember the gentleman's name. There we go. Kisme 123. So Kisme 123 has the design here for the takeoff. Luke's Lab does sell kits for the takeoff. So I did get this. I did go through, and I believe I've tapped all the holes that I need to tap, because having the holes tapped by Luke's Lab is like another 60 bucks. And I was like, nah, I can tap holes. There you go, Zombie. Thank you. So this will put a tube on that rat, or excuse me, wow, rat rig. That's going to put a tube, uh, and I have a 1 mil nozzle for that, and I believe it's a 100-watt heater for it, and thermistor. So we'll be doing quite a few upgrades to that printer when we do that. So to include the 9 mil belts and the all-wheel drive. Um, I was sitting there thinking the other night of ways that I could increase the rigidity of the structure. Normally, you don't really do 9 mil belts on 2020 extrusion because you really need to tighten the belts more, but 2020 extrusion will bend and flex a bit more if you do it. I believe both of mine are tube airs. Okay. Um, there will be a beacon on this printer as well. So this will be going on there. I think I want to do the Ender XY first though, because one, it's taking up space up here on the rack. I need to dig it out and get it up here, get that thing done and running again. And then we'll move on from there. And we'll do the Trident 350, the VZBot 235. I have a beacon to install on that. That should be relatively easy. That may get moved up just because it's a good quick filler, hopefully. And the Annex Engineering K3. Thanks to Poity, I have a set of metal it's called the party plate, to mount a tube on the Annex Engineering K3. So currently the Annex Engineering K3 is rocking a Rapido hot end. Works beautifully, but I was given the parts to update it to a tube, so I figure why not? So we'll go ahead and get a tube on there. Evaluations. I'm not calling these reviews, right? I'm not a big review printer or printer reviewer. I'm not hooked up with Bamboo or Creality or anybody like that. But the Anycubic Cobra S1 with the Ace combo was announced at, what was it, Formnext? And to support the air-cooled tube, yes, it does. It does. Um, the extruders. So also that one is going to get takeoff. That one's going to get the FXD extruder with an LDO stepper motor, not an LDO, with the Bondtech stepper motor that you would use for the LGX Pro. And then I do have an LGX Pro and the Takato that's going on a yet to be identified printer. But yes, we will be doing this setup right here on the Trident. Let's see, the tube on the Annex. So from an evaluation standpoint, I had some coupons, a few other things, yada yada. There's an Anycubic Cobra S1 Ace combo on order. And when I do these, I am not getting these printers. I am buying these printers and looking at them. Hey, Royal Nomi, good morning. So I am evaluating these printers to see if they fit a need in my budding lineup here. That will be used, like I want to use some of these printers to do specific type of tasks in my vision for my business that I'm starting here in 2025. So all of you know that, well, not all of you, but Some of you may know, as we've mentioned before, that we're doing the Digital Dragon 72 Twitch anniversary giveaway. I am Digital Dragon 72. That is my moniker, right? My handle. I now have a business called Digital Dragon 3D. It's a limited liability company. And as part of that business, I will be doing prints of various types, functional, decorative, what have you. There's a reason that I have a printer like this that's going to have heated chambers, the IDEX, the black box. These are all printers that'll be used to do various things for that more engineering type stuff and capabilities. I want to be doing some cosplay prints for stuff like that. I'm also going to be looking at doing commission builds. So if somebody wants an Annex Engineering K3, but they're worried about it, they're intimidated by the build, they can get the kit and I can build it for them. And then we'll get it to them. Now, I'm going to be looking at 3-hour delivery radius. So if you want to meet me in the middle, that means you can be 6 hours away from me and we can meet somewhere in the middle to affect delivery of these, because I do not want to like crate and ship a 300 size Voron. It has worked. It has also gone very, very awry. Just ask Steve Builds about the Tribent. So I would much rather transport and deliver. So majority of that's probably going to be more local to me, but it can be done otherwise. I will also be willing to transport and deliver at shows. So if I've got some that are coming up for shows, and those builds will be done more than likely off stream, unless they specifically say they want it done on stream. The plan will be not to be doing those on stream. But that is the reason why this says Digital Dragon 72. You will see an updated logo. You will see some rebranding going on here in the near future. I do have somebody under contract right now that's working on that rebranding for me. And as soon as that is done, I will get that announced out here on the channel as well. So, Nomi, you're having a long 6 hour away. I just have to change clock every few hours. Oh, you're a long 6 hours away. You just need to change the clock every few hours. Hey, you know, you're oh well, yeah, Texas. That's a bit of a drive. That's a bit of a drive. But I do know you're going to Rocky Mountain, and I do know you're going to Murph. Just saying. And maybe somebody needs to come over and kick BC's. Actually, you do a good job of kicking BC's butt. Maybe we just need to go over and lift the brother up. 15 hours to Florida. Ugh, yeah. Well, 15 hours to Florida, and it's like 5 of that's in the state of Texas, right? I hate the state of Texas just for that, because it feels like I started off driving in Arizona, and I feel like I started my day and ended my day in the state of Texas, and it kills me. And that was just driving across the panhandle top. Okay, so printing projects, things that we've got in the works that have printed and sitting around here taking up space that I need to do stuff with. I've got a Warhammer 40K bolter. I've got a Storm bolter, which is a double barrel, double magazine bolter. I've got the mechanical chainsword by Galactic Armory. If you guys are not aware, Galactic Armory has had a lot of Halo stuff, a lot of Star Wars stuff, and they've started doing a bunch of Warhammer stuff, right? Helmets, full armor sets, the whole 9 yards. They got a cease and desist. After looking into that cease and desist, it did not appear to be from Games Workshop. So they are contesting that. Right now, all of that content is down. but hopefully in the next couple of weeks, that content will be back up on their website. So if you're a Patreon of them, you can go out and get a lot of this stuff. The bolter and storm bolter is somebody else's design that I got off of Maker World. But the chain sword, the like meter long mechanical chain sword. So I do have the motors, the batteries, and all that coming. And I do plan on building that on stream as well. So yeah, that's going to be done. I still need to finish, and by finish I mean put together my Imperial Mandalorian Commando armor set that I printed a year ago. I need to get those parts joined and sanded, filled, primed, painted, that stuff, and then figure out what are the printed parts I missed and get those printed and done as well. I got a Star Wars blaster rifle over here I need to put together. It's not the right one for the Mandalorian Commando, but it's still another thing there. Texas is the South Ohio. Oh yeah, Ohio is another one you can drive through for days. And there'll probably be more printed things like that throughout the year. RepRap projects. So these are projects that we have for specific festivals right now. So for Rocky Mountain, we've got a KB3D Death Racer and Dragster that we were commissioned to build. In fact, I've got the Big Tree Tech, what do they call it? The functional. I've got the Death Racer kit. Apparently, I'm going to be buying another one of those because Mrs. Dragon wants one of her own. So I will be building Mrs. Dragon her own Death Racer. So we've got those three things for Rocky Mountain. Murph, don't know yet. We don't have a big project designated specifically for Murph yet. And 3D Printopia, we didn't get it done for this last year. I'm going to work with Britt, and we will have the Dio droid. Remember, I needed to just reprint some of the parts, tear the neck down, and rebuild the neck using the heavier duty servos, which I have in stock right now. I just need to get off my butt and do the work. So we need to do that, and we need to do the mini chopper build. Once again, had everything printed, had all the parts here, just need to do the build. And I keep waffling over, do I want to multicolor print the parts, or do I just want to go with the white that I have, sand it, paint it, and get the colors that way? I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and do it, since I'm going to be doing a lot of sanding and painting anyhow. Hey Pez Liz, happy Saturday. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Guys, quite honestly, we're running with some Black Rifle coffee this morning because I still haven't heard Miss Dragon get up. So not sure if there's going to be a Dunkin' run today in the foreseeable future, but yeah. So while we're on this, let me flip over to the bench side screen again, because we were talking about the rig by Iconic Fab. So this is the version of the rig that I have. He's made some updates since this version to make it easier. Like, you wouldn't have the heat set inserts and the set screws here. He changed the way those go on. And he was saying that he's designing a mount for the bottom for a Meanwell power supply. I believe it was a LRS 350. The way I did my rig is the backside right here has been primarily power. And I went with the actual Den rail mounted power supplies from Meanwell. So we've got the 5 volt and the 24 volt. I may even go out and get a smaller 48 volt, since we've been doing a lot of 48 volt builds lately. And we'll get that added here. The top rail is primarily where I'm using for power distribution right now. So 5 volt, 24 volt. If I do a 48 volt, we'll add that. I've got various Raspberry Pi derivatives on here right now. I've got the space to put a board, so we can put a board on here. of course, probably moving one of these off, put the board on here, and that will allow us to do a full setup on the bench and make sure we got everything loaded, everything tested before we put it in a printer. And I really want to start working on doing that, even if it's with temporary wiring to just test everything. I have yet to have a DOA board. I have had a couple of motors on printers that were dead. And it really sucks when you go through and you get everything built and then you get a dead motor. None of the kits have had a dead motor. It's been, I had a Focus with a dead motor, which turned out to be a bad solder joint inside the motor itself. And I've had a couple of motors that have failed me on other printers, as well as some boards that have had issues. So being able to test boards, especially boards that you're brand new to and you've never used them, right? Being able to do it up here on the deck before you have everything wired up is always a good thing. So there are updates on this, so we may go through and redo this. That's the other thing we need to do based on the tooling, because that's kind of a tooling category. We do need to come back up and rebuild the Iconic Fab heat set press. What is their name of that right now? Yeah, he's not over there. He's on Printables, right? Stealth press. There we go. That, yeah. I will probably rebuild it as the Stealth Press 1S. So we'll look at doing that. If you all remember, I was one of the first people that built the Stealth Press. So, and it has been used on every single build since then. So, yep. So that'll be some of the things that we've got planned for the year. And we'll add to this as we go through the year. Because once again, I want to ask the community, okay? I do want to ask you all, the community, are there printers or projects, right? Whether those are mods. I know people were asking about the Ender NG, and God's honest truth, I don't think I want to do another Ender conversion, right? We had the belt printer, we had the Ender XY, we've done some Ender wires. I think I am done doing anything that's like an Ender conversion. And quite honestly, after seeing his builds, I would point you towards Armor 3D. Armor 3D or Armored 3D over on YouTube. I believe he's the designer of the Ender NG. And he was announcing a bunch of new mods to that, like a new revision of that. But if there are any other projects that you guys want to see, once again, knowing that we've got the Anycubic Cobra S1 and the Ace combo on order, I was looking at that, and it's an interesting design. Okay, red is the Ender 3 next gen creator. Okay, cool. The Anycubic Cobra S1 Ace. This is interesting. So the Ace unit, which is their Box Turtle, AMS, CFS, pick a name. It's their 4-spool um uh spooler respooler type thing. Um got an active heated chamber, desiccant and active heating. So you don't have to do a mod to get heat to your AMS or the box turtle. I know that's coming, right? Or things like that. It's already there from the factory, right? It's weird in that it comes out of the unit as 4 PTFE tubes. There is a buffer, kind of like you see with the turtleneck. There's a buffer at the back bottom of the ace where those tubes come out. So it's got the built-in buffer. And when I say buffer, I'm talking about buffering between the ace extruder and the tool head extruder to keep those in sync. Okay. And then right at the back of the printer, it goes into a 4-into-1. Right. So that's a little different design. And that system can daisy chain 2 of those units so it can go up to 8 colors. Right. As you've seen the box turtle announcements from LDO, right? Box turtles, right? The LDO kit box turtles and stuff. These things can daisy chain 16 units for a total of 64 colors. You'd have some interesting wiring and CAN bus or USB hub adapters and stuff to get it all done, but it is capable, right? Chewy VZBot. What VZBot? I've got the VZBot 235 build. We're going to be adding a beacon to that. I've had the beacon for a while. I think I got the beacon around Murph. I just haven't installed it. So I need to get the beacon installed on that. Possibly install the little, like the hat thing. This is basically just a riser for the lid that will give you a little bit more room. The one thing I hate with like Tridents and stuff and the VZBot as well, the PTFE tube rubs against the top acrylic and it abrades the PTFE tube, which is a consumable. I get that. But it's not like it scratches, but it leaves this film stuff all over the top and it just looks like crud. The inkjet color 3D printer add-on. I was seeing that. I was seeing that. Oh, yes, Petty. Yeah, it was bad. Did you see the smoke coming out? It's been so long since I've done subnet masking. It's bad. Called PolyDrive. Are you saying that that's the name of the inkjet color 3D printer add-on? Inkjet color. Let's see if that comes up. PolyDye, not PolyDrive. PolyDye.
I'm done spending an obscene amount of money on takeout every week. Done.
I'm getting back on track with Factor.
Fresh, never.
Mute that for a second. An open source inkjet integration. I would have to take a look at that. Yeah, so this is Not sure if that's the same one I'm watching, which is teaching text video. Yeah, but this is supposed to be a print of the item that talks about it, or is what it's supposed to look like. Is there? There we go. Poly die. You can take a look at this. No material changes, fast printing, hands-free dynamic interface. Compatible with any Marlin 2.0 Plus supported printer with a suitable mount. Okay. Separate processor. Some other components. Still in beta. But we'll have to dig into that, Timor. We'll have to dig into that. Let me add that to the list. So that's builds, printing projects. Put that down here in a section for like beta testing. Whoops. Wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. So the poly die, folks. You can use one of your Ender 3s. Yeah, I would have to look into that. At first, I was like, ooh, the because I've got two Ender wires, right? The I was thinking, okay, maybe the Ender XY here, but we're running a non-stock hot end on it, so that might be an issue because it's one of the H2V2S. I think it's the Revo one. So that might give us pause. So we may have to find a donor printer for this, in which case I was going to say get one off eBay, but quite honestly, I might be able to go to Evocate and just get a busted one from Evocate and fix it for this particular use. Because I know that they get a lot of busted Ender 3s. So Liz, if you're still there, did I do good here on my announcement thing? To be quite honest, I was looking at yours and zombies trying to figure out how to make it look good. Trying to up my game, get a little bit better here, you know. Thank you there. Thank you. But yeah, a lot of standard stuff here. For those of you that have recently joined in, we went over this earlier. These are the folks that have responded back to me so far. There may be some additional additions between now and 2 weeks from now. Okay, great, Eent. Yep. Well, I'll go through some of the prizes that we have. Polymaker is allowing me to give away 10 spools of filament. That is worldwide, wherever Polymaker ships. If you're US or Canada, you'll get a like gift card, electronic gift card. Everywhere else, excuse me, Polymaker will reach out to you to ship you a spool of your choosing, or within, it's the PLA line, basically, I believe, PLA or PETG. West 3D has provided 5 $20 gift cards. KB 3D is providing 2 $50 gift cards, a $100 gift card. Once again, those are all the gift cards are worldwide. 5 CNC or CNC kitchen deburring tools and 2 reamer kits. Once again, I showed off the reamer kit here. A very nice set of 6 reamers, standard sizes, and a nice laser etched box or laser cut, laser etched box to include the KB3D logo on the bottom. So the nice little set to have at the bench. Those are US only. We will have 2 Apis 2 extruders provided by Fadis. I currently have a question out to them as to if those are region restricted or not. Fabrico has come back. Hector has responded saying that he's wanting to support. I don't know what he wants to provide yet, so I'm still waiting on that information. And LDO Motors. LDO Motors is providing a Orbiter 3 extruder, or the Smart Orbiter 3 extruder, a set of 4 LDO Speedy stepper motors. So those are really good, the Speedy Power stepper motors, and an LDO box turtle kit. Those are US only. Now these are vendor restrictions because the vendors are shipping those. Yeah, Fadis should be global. That's what I'm expecting. I just wanted to double check. There will also be some shipping stuff. Like Fadis has told me it's like 10 to 15 days standard shipping. LDO has told me it's going to be a couple of weeks before they get it shipped out. Okay. They are making changes to the LDO box turtle kits based on feedback from the beta group. I don't know if it will apply to like the Smart Orbiter as well. I think it's just the box turtle is going to be more delayed. Yes, Shenanigans, not just a year. This is year number 2 of Twitch streaming. Year number 2 of Twitch streaming. Also, and I am only making these statements on the live streams, right? You can talk about it in the live streams, you can talk about it, but I am only announcing these on the live streams between now and that date. I've got 2 Solval SVO6s that I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to release them. At least one will be released. And here's the caveat. If we complete, let me rephrase that or restate that. If we complete a level 10 hype train on that Twitch anniversary stream, 2 things are going to happen. 1, I'm going to take a tablespoonful of Pex Pepper's spicy habanero salsa. I did that when I got the first test batch because I did order one of the test batches, and that was an eye-opening experience. I was not expecting it to be that hot, but I will do that again. And then number 2 is going to release one of the SVO6s. I haven't decided yet how the second one's going to go or if I'm going to do both during this stream. It really depends on if I get more stuff to give away for you all. Once again, I am reaching out to vendors still, trying to get responses from them to see if they're willing to help. There's a couple I would really like to get and get more exposure into the community. And you better prepare your stomach. Well, and here's the thing, like right now, right? Normal stream. I've had a protein shake. or actually, I haven't had a protein shake. I had yogurt and coffee. I've had a protein shake and just straight coffee. That is not the time to just do PEX peppers. So you may see me eating some snacks to make sure that there's something on my belly before that happens. But yeah, so 2 guaranteed unlocks on a level 10 hype train. I'm taking some PEX peppers straight. That's teaspoon, or not teaspoon, tablespoon. The big one, tablespoon, straight out of the jar, and go. And we'll be doing an SVO6 that is going to be US only because I am shipping that. I have that printer at my house right now, right? So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to eat international shipping fees on that. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Like I said, there are a couple of people I'm still waiting to hear back from, hoping that I hear back from them. So as those details come in, this will get updated and updates will be posted out. But thank you guys for all the support that you've given me over the last year. I know some of the names I've seen here are relatively new, but you know that's what this whole thing is about. Is to me, it's growing the community, and that's why you know, I was asking and why this stream is titled. You know, I want your ideas. I want your thoughts. I want to know what you, as part of my community and the larger 3D printing community, is interested in, right? I don't want to do content that you guys are like, yeah, whatever, right? But I do want to do content. I do want to look at new printers. We know there's going to be new printers coming out this year. The Anycubic Ace is one of them. You know, 2024 was the year, you know, I dubbed that as the year of multicolor on this channel, where we did things like Black Box, we did Box Turtles, we had the X1C carbons here with the AMS, we did the MMU3 on the Prusa Mark IV, right? We've been evaluating these multicolor setups and really, you know, do they deliver? And when I say do they deliver, for the most part, the 3D printers are providing good prints, right? I haven't, there's been a handful that have come out this year that are just poo-poo prints, right? And it's really, what are they bringing to the table and how well does the system work? And Box Turtle is a great solution. Things like things like Crad Rack, Enraged Rabbit Carrot Feeder, Box Turtle. Supposedly the VVD. I haven't yet to see the VVD yet from Big Tree Tech, but these are all printer agnostic capable, right? You can add those on to a printer that you have accessed the host on, right? So you're not going to take a Box Turtle and integrate it with an X1 Carbon or a P1S, right? It just doesn't work that way because this is a lockdown walled community. You're not going to cross-pollinate an AMS over onto a K1C or anything like that. It's a walled community. You could probably do it if you got the right electronics engineering degrees or knowledge and stuff, but we'll just say that's not the standard, right? So I'm looking at it as their expected ecosystem. So far, the Box Turtle I have found easier to set up and a lot more reliable than the Enraged Rabbit Carrot Feeder, right? The Enraged Rabbit Carrot Feeder that I built is buried down here somewhere and is going to get taken apart and made as parts, or maybe show up at one of the RepRap festivals or go online for sale as a I will ship the unit as is type thing. Have you seen Lemontron yet? Nope. Never heard of it. What is this? Pucker Up for Limitron, the zesty portable 3D printer that fits in a box of filament. So that kind of looks like a positron. The only 3D printed RepRap style positron. Okay. Interesting. It's a diet positron. Yeah, there's a couple of different positrons, like the one from Mello. Do a giveaway for the Urkfrove. That way, people who want it can enter. Possibly, that is possible. That is something I can entertain. Yeah, there's a Mello one. Yeah, right. The Mello, an M1 or something like that. No, apparently not. Who was it? Was it I think Steve Builds I just saw last night. Steve Builds just did, I think it was a thing on that. Yeah, not seeing it there. If anybody's got a link. Oh, it isn't released yet? Gotcha. Yeah, Steve Builds had it. It was gotcha. There we go. Yeah, I know that that they've had one out there as well. That's why I thought it was the Mello M1, but it's apparently not released yet. And quite honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'd even take a look at that. Right? My positron's awesome. Love the positron. Love the positron. Yeah, there's some interesting K1 mod. So here's something else I'm interested in, right? So this is the K1C. Apparently, they're going to backport the, they call it the CFS from the K2 into the K1 lineup. Now, I'm curious to see what that looks like and how they do that. But I think that would be interesting to have the ability to update this firmware wise and get multicolor on this printer. Like, I would look at that, right? The K2 is out there and the CFS was purpose built around the K2, right? So if they come out and say, here's the upgrade path for the K1 lineup, I will get that and look at that and see how that upgrade path works. Oh yeah. So this is the Creality K1C. It's the standard Creality build plate size. And guess what? The Anycubic is pretty much the standard size. I think the Anycubic is 250, 250, 250. Pull that up real fast. The yeah. So the Anycubic S1 combo right now, it's $549, so it's $200 off for another little over a day, right? You can get it with the 4-color combo for $5.49 or the 8-color, which means 2 of the things. Yeah. Go. Oh, helps if I flip the display, huh? So once again, you can get it with 1 for $5.49 or the 2, and I'm assuming the necessary joiners and stuff to be able to get them both coming in for $8.08, right? You can get filament with it at the same time, yada yada yada. Yay, verily. So it's 250 cube build volume or print volume, 600 millimeters a second, ultra fast, high speed printing, up to 8 colors. So this is the other thing, right? So you've got the Bamboo with their cloud, MakerWorld, the Handy app, whatnot. Creality has the same thing, so you can cloud print to the Creality and manage and access all your systems via the cloud and an app for the Creality. I haven't installed any of that. I haven't installed Creality Slicer. I'm using Orca for this one, right? The Anycubic, once again, has its own ecosystem of applications. So you can install the app, you can create the account, install the app, and do everything like you would on the X1 Carbon or the Creality using their system. I'm trying not to do more of that just yet. If I wind up liking the Crealities, and I'm going to bring several of them in as the print side of the business increases, then I would consider getting the, doing the Creality and all that good stuff. We'll see though. It's got to make sense, right? And unfortunately, Creality and their Creality Cloud and some of the things they did initially burned a lot of people on wanting to use it, right? $400. Hold on. Yeah, that's the big thing there, Zombie, is the Mellow. I don't know if like it's trying to compete with Positron, but like I said, it's smaller. I'm not sure if it's any more rigid or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how that one goes. Yeah, and $400, $500 gets you a lot of cool printers. I mean, they're selling it as the combo. With the Kickstarter, or not Kickstarter. This is not a Kickstarter. With the release of the printer, it's all coming with the combo. I'm wondering if they're going to sell the S1 as just the printer without all the other stuff. Right, that'll be interesting because that would probably put that printer close to 500. You're drying and printing at the same time. Once again, it's got an active heater in the ACE unit. You can do 8-color printing. They've got their Chroma standard colors, Core XY construction, 600 millimeters, yada yada. Looks very Bamboo-esque on that tool head, right? Prints and dries all in one. Fully enclosed Core XY. Low, so it does have I believe it's an inductive probe. I don't believe it's touching the nozzle. I believe it's got an inductive probe. Resonance compensation, that's, if you got Clipper, you better be doing that now. Dynamic flow compensation, yep. Check, check, check. Copy, paste, clean, rinse, repeat. 320 on the tool head. It is a quick release tool head. It's apparently there's a lever that you can, you take the front magnetic shroud off, there's a lever and you can drop the tool or the hot end itself out and replace. Comes with a 4mm tool head. You can get the 0.2, 0.6, and 0.8 hot ends. Yeah, unbox, start printing in 15 minutes. We were pretty close to that on the Creality, right? It does have AI spaghetti detection, does have belt tension monitoring, power loss resume. Mileage may vary there. If it's a power blip, you're good. If it's like what we've had here where we've got multiple power blips one after the other, you're done. It's not recovering, right? And then the Anycubic software ecosystem. So they have the Anycubic slicer based on Orca plus LAN mode plus multi-plate management. Well, Orca does multi-plate management. LAN mode just means you're running it internal without going out to the cloud. That's Orca's been doing that for years, right? Where are we at here? Hey, Tugboat, welcome in. Hey, Cruising Girl. Mega S from 2018. Yeah. Parts do cost money. That is true. Amber already cutting it low. So where do they get that money out? Yeah, an A1 last week for 180. So here's the thing: the A1 is that. So that was the standard A1, but it wasn't the combo, right? It was just the printer. They do. So that's the thing. Like any other printer, right? Inkjets, laser jets, they are relatively cheap at the consumer side of things. You can go buy a inkjet printer for 30 bucks. Literally, I bought them for 30 bucks, right? Where they get you is the consumables, the ink, right? The X1's a one-time sunk cost for the most part. Yeah, you got to do some maintenance, right? You spare parts maintenance. But when you buy an X1 and the A1 and all, it comes with a spare hot end and stuff. So you've got some of that built into the price. So it's a one-time sunk cost. The filament, the consumables, I guarantee you right now, just looking at the filament that I can see here and just go with an average cost, right? I've got some higher end filaments, but average cost, 25 bucks a spool. I'm not going to say the amount of spools I have in this shop right now, and what I have coming is even more. So that's the cost, right? The printer is the tool. They get you in the consumables. And here's the thing, right? Ecosystem. The Anycubic ecosystem. What do I mean by ecosystem? They all three have RFID detectors. Which means guess what? By the Bamboo, you just drop it, it recognizes it, you go. If you buy their filament. If you buy somebody else's filament, you got to go in and manually add it. Or if you're like me, all of these are PLA, so as long as I put PLA in it, I don't care. I just pick whichever slot color I want at time of print, right? But it's really, you do it in the slicer and, but when I'm doing box turtle, I don't care. I've got the box turtle files. I know this is the accent plate. This is the main plate. So when I print the next set of box turtles, I just load up whatever two colors I'm using, and that's what I print, right? Bada bing, bada boom, done. But same thing with Creality. You're not locked into using the Creality filament, but the easy path is to go and just get Creality filament. Anycubic, they've got an RFID reader. I'm sure it's only going to read their RFID tags because they're not all using an open source RFID system. If they did, then it wouldn't matter. It would read everybody's spools and it would be a lot easier. Okay, an A1 Mini with no combo. There you go. And if you that Mega S, if you haven't got it up and running by Rocky Mountain, bring it to Rocky Mountain. Maybe we can sit down and try and make it run at Rocky Mountain. Yeah, the cost of parts. You can go buy a Bamboo hot end complete for like 25, 30 bucks. Full hot end. You know, where we're going out, we're buying tubes for 200. Now, granted, it's completely different flow ratios and stuff like that, but that's where you started seeing people taking and modifying mounts to put Bamboo hot ends, which have proven to be able to definitely up to the task, right, of fast printing. And they're taking those and they're modifying mounts to put them on Vorons and other things, right? The Rook Mark II, the Rook 2020 Mark II uses a knockoff of a Bamboo Labs. And I'm like, why the hell are we using a knockoff? The Bamboo Labs one is like 25 bucks. Yeah. But once again, I'll say the RFID system is a walled garden. So they're trying to entice you to buy their consumables, which just drop in, it's recognized, and it updates automatically. It's the easy button. Not saying that's a bad thing, because that's, like I said, inkjet laser printers have been doing that for years. Support skip objects. Well, I hope so. Like this supports skipped objects. It's a pain in the butt, and you can't do it. I don't think you can do it in the app. You have to do it at the printer. Like, well, why? I can do it in the app on every other printer. The app, remote control, real-time monitoring. I will tell you, that's the one nice thing with this is I've had prints running and I've had to go somewhere and I can actually get in and monitor them. That's nice. If you've got a print farm and you're running a print farm at a secondary location from where you live, work, whatever, it's great for monitoring, right? That's awesome. You know, can't complain about that. Well, here's the thing, Chewy. RFID tags weren't meant to be locked down. The whole premise of RFID tags literally was product line management, right? So logistics management. Everybody's scanning barcodes, but if I'm building a solid product line, automated product capability, I'm including an RFID tag and it's going down and I can tell you exactly where that is in the assembly line at any given point because I've just got scanners in place. So as that RFID comes by, it just picks, right? The technology that we're using for like badge readers and stuff, that's all RFID technology. It wasn't meant to be encrypted and locked down. Yes, there's uses to do that, but it was created as a way of monitoring things as things move through an assembly line, a factory, or anything like that. So it runs kind of, but it also has a poor SD card reader that's finicky and only takes certain SD cards that it likes. Yeah, old, cantankerous. Well, it's a grumpy old printer. Gotcha. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. As soon as you break into the walled garden, they'll just change the coding and you're back to breaking into it again. So here we go. So it does look like right now the S1 combo is $549, founder's price, right? Retail is going to be $749, and the Cobra S1 currently is $379 with $549 for the suggested price. So basically, if you get into the Cobra before tomorrow, or yeah, I guess it's the end of tomorrow, you're basically getting the printer and the Ace for the price of the printer, right? Porting filaments, PLA, PETG, TPU, ABS, ASA, all the standards. And I'm not seeing it talk about CF type stuff. Hot end is metal, quick detachable. We'll take a look at that and see. Yay, bunch of standard stuff in the box, no big deal. But the fact that this is 250, that to me is kind of the sweet spot, right? Do I have some 300 size printers? Yes, I do, right? But these have put in a lot more time recently than anything else on the shelf. But that's going to change because right now I'm printing stuff for me versus all the other stuff, and the other stuff is going to start ramping up here. RFID and printing, average consumer is just, oh, wait. Well, so here's the thing, shenanigans. For the me and you, right? For me and you, it's so for people like us that are printers, we're builders, we're tinkerers, the RFID thing is kind of a no big deal. Print farms. New people to 3D printing, right? That are not building, but just want to print. That's a convenience. That's an ease of use. Having that reader so that if I take a bamboo spool and put it in there and it knows exactly not only manufacturer, the type of filament, the color, and it sets all the temperatures up straight, right? It's a convenience thing. And the simple fact that you put it in here and this recognizes it, you go over to your bamboo slicer and all you have to do is click a button that says resync, yes, resync, and it picks up the latest set of filaments that's in here. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, I don't care. I still put my E-Packs, I put my Elegoo, my Anycubic, my Polymaker, I'll put whatever in there as long as the spool fits. And if the spool doesn't fit, I'll just respool it. But, a few clicks and telling it what it is and picking a color, not that hard, but it's an ease of use thing. And I think now that this has had it, the Creality CFS has it, and the Anycubic has those RFID sensors. Once again, the easy button is if I am brand new, I've never done this before, I don't really understand it, I go out and I get a K2 or a P1S combo, an A1 or an A1 mini combo, this Anycubic, S1 combo, and I get filament from them because I want to see it, and I want to see it print. And I go through and print everything that they provided on the SD card. And then I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's awesome. Now let me start printing more. And you realize as soon as you put something else in there that you have to go in and do extra steps, where if you just buy bamboo, it works. And you can either print out bamboo spools or buy some bamboo spools. And now all I got to do is open the box. Is buy a refill and swap a spool. And this has the ARFID tags already in it. And this is cheaper than buying the one with the spool, and I don't have to worry about throwing spools away. Less waste, right? I don't know. I think it really works for the younger crowd of 3D printers that are coming in. It's definitely useful for people that are doing, hey, I'm going to stand up a business and I'm going to print things, right? It works. Just get the Bamboo stuff, put it in. All the configs and settings are there. You don't have to tweak anything. Yeah, Polymaker has a bunch of stuff in Orca Slicer. It's in the X1C. Cubic isn't. Elegoo isn't. Epax isn't. You can start with generic, but you might have to make some changes along the way, right? To get the best final results. So do you want to sit here and tweak, or do you just grab the stuff that has the profiles that work well? Hey Kegel, welcome on in. Shrimp Father, welcome on in. We've just been chatting. This has been more of a chat and chill stream. We're really not building. I did leave building on there because I wasn't sure if we were going to mess with anything, but we've just been chatting and chilling. Partly. So we'll come back over here and we'll kind of run through things again. So I did put the announcement out there on the Discord and all the socials. The Digital Dragon 72 Twitch stream anniversary will be on January 18th. That's 2 weeks away. All right. We're going to start normal time, 10 a.m. Eastern. And right now we've got these 6 folks plus myself that have some giveaway items. I don't know, maybe we'll see if I throw anything else in or not. But right now, you're only hearing this on the live stream. So if you're here on a live stream or you watch the VOD on YouTube later on, you may come across and hear this. But right now, if we complete a level 10 hype train, I'll repeat that, if we complete a level 10 hype train during that stream, 2 things are going to happen. One, I'm going to grab a tablespoon and take a full tablespoonful, like heaping tablespoon, of Pex Pepper's spicy habanero salsa. Right? Because I know that pain. I did that pain when I got the test batch from them. It'll be fun. Probably see my nose and eyes water a little bit. And it's going to unlock an additional item in the giveaway for an SV06, a Solval SV06 printer. So what do we have? We've got West3D is providing 5 $20 gift cards. KB3D is providing 2 $50 gift cards, a $100 gift card, 5 sets of CNC kitchen deburring tools, US only, 2 sets of reamers. They're nice reamer set, complete with the little box and everything. US only. Polymaker's providing 10 spools of filament worldwide. Betis is providing 2 Apus 2 extruders worldwide. Fabrico has not been determined yet. They have agreed. I don't know what he's going to offer in. And LDO Motors, US only, a Smart Orbiter 3 extruder, a set of 4 Speedy Power motors, and an LDO box turtle kit. Again, US only. These are vendor restrictions, not mine. The Solval SV06 will be US only because I have that printer still in box. I bought them, and I will be shipping those out. I just can't eat international shipping just yet. One day maybe, it's not yet. let's see. What I need are plastic replacement spool thingies for my Area 1 and Polymaker spools, as they use different size cores than bamboo. You, you well, one, you can print bamboo spools. These are printed. These are printed actually in Anycubic gray PLA. And I never showed you guys these. So after we did all the upgrades to Dragoon 1 over here, the one that's a little bit brighter because it has the Pandalux in it, this is the print and texture that we're getting. Let me see if I can get the, this is the print and texture that we're getting, first layer and stuff here, on the Panda CryoGrip Glacier plate. So the glaciers are the ones that you can use on various materials. So PLA, PETG, TPU, ABS, ASA, nylon, PC. The frostbite plates are only to be used with PLA and PETG. All right, so this was that plate. Now, the pre-sliced file that I'm printing these from actually complains about the CryoGrip because it's not the plate that it's looking for. Looking for the textured build plate. So I finally swapped that over because I keep forgetting. And once again, it's coming out beautiful. This is using generic PLA. Fits nicely. So you can print these spools out, and it's the bamboo size. So print these out, print out a respooling system, and respool your non-appropriately sized ones, because atomic fusion filaments, printed solid spools, they're too big. They won't go in the AMS. Now, I have no idea if they'll go on the AMS Lite because those are using the center. But that's the other thing you got to look out for, is the ones that use the center, whether or not you have to just print some adapters for those spools. But yeah, a lot of stuff that's going on. That'll be going on in 2 weeks. We will not be doing a build at all. We're going to be doing this type of stuff right here. You'll probably see a lot of this view and this face as we go through that. I am hoping by then to have my full set of logos and banners and stuff so that we can debut those as well. We'll see. I'm not going to push the designer. I'd much rather have good set and all things done before showing that off. How much filament to make the spool holder here? Let's see. 87.5 for the one, and 96 grams. So less than 200 grams of PLA filament per spool holder. You can print as many or as few as you need. So yeah, these come out awesome. Yeah, five spools per roll, and what, $20 for a roll of filament? It's going to be cheaper than, probably cheaper than buying the bamboo spools that you can buy from Bamboo, especially when you look at shipping and everything. Welcome in, AFM 380 Nice. So yeah, I will tell you that I do have 2 of the Solval SV06s. I know one will be released if we get the level 10 hype, completed level 10 hype train. The other one, I don't know. It depends. I think I'm going to look at it, and it'll depend on if we get more stuff here, or maybe I'll hold it off because, excuse me, the other thing that will happen is, and I haven't even looked, I guess I should look. My birthday is February. So we may have another giveaway stream in February. Now, what I did last year was I combined my streamiversary and my birthday in February. The problem with that is it landed right in the middle of Lunar New Year. So companies like Fadis, LDO Motors, Big Tree Tech, and the like are closed. And they don't want to do the giveaways because, hey, you want a giveaway, but we're closed for the next X number of weeks, plus 2 weeks of shipping, right? It's kind of a bad customer experience type thing. So that's why I was looking to make sure I could get to them earlier this month for my streamiversary. And then we'll probably do another something in February. And we'll reach out to all of our US folks again and see if they're willing to do some smaller things for that birthday stream as well. So yeah, there are spool adapters for the AMS Lite, but if they're too big around, around to fit in the AMS, I mean, you can hang them on the back or set them on a spool on the side and run them through, but then you lose the AMS capability unless you respool them. All right, yeah, there you go, Cruising Girl. Now, what does it cost for the spools from Bamboo Lab? Right, because they do sell, or at least I know they were selling the spools. Um, where is bundles? There we go, under filament accessory. Well, darn it. Guess it helps too if I show. So full display. Gotcha. So under your filament accessories, you do have the reusable spool or the high temperature reusable spool. I don't understand the difference. You're going in an unheated AMS. I don't know why you need a high temperature, but for me, it's 12 bucks US plus shipping. So definitely toss it in with something else. Right. And if you wound up doing the high temp spool, yeah, same thing. It's just a different material. I think I bought a couple of these and I had issues because they kept unlocking when it was doing a respool operation. Yeah, I guess that makes sense if you're using the printer to do a drying or actually drying anything like that. And I think a lot of people put materials in the oven and one, they're just running them and they're not paying attention. The better way is do it in a dehydrator or a poly dryer or something like that that doesn't get all the way up as high temp, I'll say. Um, Speaking of poly dryer, I don't know if a few of you guys noticed that or not, but I have had a poly dryer sitting here. It has been going all day. Well, actually, it went for like 12 hours last night, and I kicked it on for another couple hours today. Um, Down at 10%. I redid the desiccant in it before I started drying it, and it's down to 10%. This is polycarbonate CF. No idea who manufactured this. It's not Polymaker or anything like that. It's PCCF though. Can't remember whose it is. That might be the Prylene. That's probably what it is. It's probably Prylene PCCF. I was going to use this when you add that heater. One of the things I know, or I heard about when you use the heater for the X1 carbons, and the heater I'm referring to is this little mini heater that we're going to install. It blows the air out at the top, and it's going to be right next to the side panel. And the side panel of these X1 carbons are, I think these might be, are these metal? Don't sound metal. And they may start to deform. So what I'm going to do is add basically a little diverter scoop. And I'm going to print that in PCCF because it's going to be hot air coming out. You're going to want to do either nylon or PCCF, something with a high temperature resistance. Well, and here's the thing too, is most of the plastic spools are in ABS, right? Most of your plastic spools are in ABS. All the dryers you have can't dry nylon. I can tell you that this has done a great job at nylon. I use this to dry the PA6 and the PA612CF and the copolyamide, which is PA612 blend from Polymaker, and it works really, really well. And I can get this stuff down, like I said, 10% easily, and pop it off the heater when it's done and put your seals on. And when I first got one of these, I think it was PCCF. It might have been the same material, not this spool, but the same material. We pulled it down to 10%, put the things on it, and for a month, we kept looking at it on stream, and it kept 10% for a month. So this is a great sealed storage solution. You have the heater. I like that it's modular. The problem with a lot of my other heated dryers is the heater is built in. So you heat it and then you're done. Here, I can heat it, pop it off, put the things on, start drying out another one, and I'll take this over, put it at the printer, and print with it. And it's going to keep that 10%. It's no longer actively drying, but I'm gonna be able to keep it over there and keep it at 10% and print with it, and not worry about deterioration through a long print. Before, what I was doing was using the Sunloos, and I would basically have to keep those running and actively heating as I was printing because they're not airtight. So I spend time drying it overnight, and then I have to run it the whole time that I'm printing to ensure that it stays dry over the process. Yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the boxes and 2 of the dryers. Now, what I would love to see is them to sell the dryer separately without having to buy another box. Because I bought like one of these and 4 more boxes when I bought my initial. Like I went all in basically. And it would be great to have a couple of more of just the dryer units, but I didn't see where you could buy the dryer without also getting the polybox combo. Right? I think it would be better off if they sold these separately and then had these, you know, because you can only buy these as single packs. I would much like to see like a bulk where you can buy like 5 of these or 6 of them or whatever, and then be able to buy the dryers separately, because a lot of people may be like kind of like what I did, right? I'm not storing my ABS. I if I need to, if the ABS starts printing crap, then I'll dry it. But if not, it just sits out in the open. Same thing for a lot of my PLA. But I'm keeping my nylon, my polycarbonates, um, uh, my glass filled or CF filled, right? Your glass filled and CF filled are going to accept more moisture because of, you know, that added filler in the material. It allows for greater pockets in the material itself, so it will absorb more moisture than just standard like ABS or A. Hey, thanks for following Shadow Queen. Welcome in. Um, yeah, the Sunlu and the eSun are basically the same thing. I've got 2 of the Sunlu dryers down there. They work great. There's no air movement in them, and I really found that the poly dryer really works. It just works because there's air circulation in here. You've got your desiccant, so if you swap your desiccant out, you start drying it, your desiccant's going to stay dry in the process because it's actively being dried as well, right? Um, you asked Shrimp Father what he was doing. He said he was over here lurking. Oh, yeah, gotcha. We're over here chit-chatting. Normally we're doing some type of build like on the V-Core, the black box. We've got the rat rig mill over here that's going to get moved out of the way because we're kind of at a stopping point until I get the spindle for it, which is delayed in shipping. Rat rig's still waiting for that. This is a beta unit, by the way, part of the open beta for this. You know, we've just been chatting. Part of the reason we've just been chatting is we've been talking and promoting the Twitch Streamiversary. So this is my 2nd year. We just finished the 2nd year streaming on Twitch. So we like to do something to commemorate that annual occurrence. So we've got some people in the community, some vendors in the community that are providing some great giveaways for this. I've got a couple things that I'm throwing in. The other thing we've been doing is looking at some other projects and talking about things that we want to either builds, mods, upgrades, some evaluations. I did order an Anycubic Cobra S1 Ace combo. So we'll be looking at that, which is yet another AMS or multi-material type system. Some of the printing projects that we have on the deck that, you know, I've got printed out and I need to actually put them together because they will take up less space once they are put together because I can display them somewhere than just being in boxes or like this box. There you go, Dr. Salt. This box is full of parts that once put together will form a meter long Warhammer 40K chainsword that operates, right? So like we've got to do some assembly of stuff, and then we'll get into, you know, doing all the, probably won't do the painting and stuff, but I may document some of the process of how many times we had to go through and sand, prime, paint, fill, blah, blah, blah. That was the other thing. I've got a, what is it? This is the Ibos Polyphemus. And I'll have to unplug it, but I got this one. It can do 2 spools. It does also have active air movement. It does have trays to add desiccant in here, but I got this one specifically to be able to do, you can do 2 1 kilos or 2 and 3 kilogram spools in here. So I got this one specifically because I had some 3 kilo spools and I had nothing else that could dry it. The 5 kilo spools, yeah, I'm just kind of, well, I have something. I'm waiting for it. I was part of the KB3D group buy for the, what is the, let me pull that up real fast. Watch this. 1 letter, K. Tells you how often I go to this site, huh? Group buys. So I was part of the group buy for the filament dryer storage cabinet. So this is the name of this. The E-Dry cabinet. Okay, so the E-Dry cabinets are expensive, but it can bring down the entire cabinet to 10% or less. It can get down into single digits. 3.2 cubic feet of humidity controlled storage space. Simply set your desired relative humidity level as low as less than 1%. And it can pull it down and keep it there. And you can print directly out of it. So yeah, we bought this under the group buy, and the expectation is we're going to do the same thing that KB3D did, and we'll take the storage out of here. We'll get this stuff out, and it's going to slide right in here underneath the black box. So this is the black stack rack. It is specifically designed around running an E-Dry underneath here with the black box above it. So the black stack I don't think's been released. I begged for the stand, so I had a place to put black box and not trip over it all the time. Sorry, Mrs. Dragon came in while I was talking and brought Dunkin'. We have fresh coffee, but didn't say hi, bye, or anything. Hopefully she's not mad at me for some reason. Dunkin'. I really need to get Dunkin' to sponsor me. Black Rifle Company and Dunkin'. I need to get them to sponsor me. You know we're all about the coffee on this stream, aren't we? Yeah, this will be like the end all be all dryer is that E-Dry. And that is definitely going to be where I store all my engineering filaments and stuff like that for longer term storage. hooking your dehumidifier up to a container to dry filament. Well, from what I hear, everybody's better than Tim Hortons. I don't know, Cruising Girl, because I know there's some Tim Hortons down here. Down here in the States. I have seen them around. I don't. They're probably not the same Timmy Hortons that you guys have up there. Let's put it that way. Would an air coat dry better than a heater? Technical, it gets the water out of the air, right? So in this case, the eDry system, I believe, does have heat, but it also does, oh, what am I thinking of? It is a dehumidifier, right? The problem with heat is, okay, you heat it up, the moisture turns to steam, it leaves the material. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, okay? We switch over here. Turn this around, and I'm not sure if the humidity will show up on here or not, right? The humidity is reading 10%. That is 10% relative humidity in the box. Okay? That's not saying that the material has 10% humidity levels. The box is at 10%. The volume of the box is at 10% humidity. The spool could be more or less. Okay? The spool can be more or less. Those hygrometers are plus or minus range, but they're reading the overall volume of the enclosed space. So the hygrometer right here that is reading 22%, that's 22% in the enclosed volume of the AMS. That's not 22% in each spool of filament. Each spool can be at a different relative humidity level. You make cold with heat, yeah. But one burns out the water, the other dehumidifies by making it cold, and that melts. Hey, Bearded Printer, thank you for the 100 biddies. I'm about to join your, was it Things? I was looking at that. There's a couple of things I want to print out. So you'll be getting a new Things membership here very, very shortly. You have 3 dry boxes and use calcium chloride to draw humidity out of the spools. Your mirrored video throws me off when I look at your printers. Is it mirrored? This is to the right. That's to the left. Well, let me put it this way. I'm looking at my thing, and yes, I'm saying this is to the right, and it looks like to the right on my screen, which would, yeah, probably. But if I do it the other way, then I'm thrown off, and I start pointing in all weird directions. So hygrometer with a G, yes, not hydrometer, hygrometer, correct. Hydrometer is checking, like, the hydrometer is like checking the rain levels, right? And hygrometer is checking the relative humidity, moisture in the air. As your desiccant is saturated, it might get lower with dry desiccant. True. So the desiccant that I put in here was dried. And what I literally do is I take this desiccant out and I start drying it when I put fresh desiccant in, and then take the dried desiccant and put it back in my big jug of desiccant. So yeah, get yourself a big jug of desiccant that you can put fresh desiccant in while you're drying the old. Oh, my shirt is backwards. Yeah, when I'm looking at this, it's, yeah, you're right. I should probably rotate. Yeah, I don't know. I keep getting those messed up on how to set that up right, but yes. I'm mirrored, yeah. Don't forget to use code PESLIZ for the win for 50% off the first month. Definitely, definitely. Let me write that down somewhere. Add that note over here. Cool. Thank you. The density of specific gravity of a liquid in relation to water. Okay, there we go. Calcium chloride absorbs way more moisture than silicon. Correct. And the little packets that you get in your filament and some medications and all those other stuff, some of those are silica gel. Some of those are, I don't know if they're calcium chloride or if they're some type of ceramic, but they're just the same, right? You can dry those out and reuse those. So definitely dry those out and reuse those. But yeah, it's you definitely need to try and keep your stuff, and PLA and PETG aren't as hygroscopic as other materials, but they do suck in moisture over time. And an indication is if you're getting a lot of stringing on filament that you're not used to getting stringing, or you're getting a lot of breaks, pull the thing out, dry it. Just pull it out, dry it. And you'll be amazed at how well that will change your print, the print quality. It's just drying out your prints. And you may get a spool that's fresh out of the package that prints like dog do. Dry it, give it another shot. Don't just think, oh, well, that must be a bad batch, or that, I lost one of the little feet here, or that vendor sucks. Now, dry the filament, give it another shot. Chances are it's just wet filament. So yeah, that's what I really had today, folks. We talked about the the Twitch stream anniversary and the giveaways that we have to date. We talked about some of the projects and what projects you guys would like to see, either printers, projects, that could be, printer mods, That could be new printer builds. That could be new printers, right? We did the Creality K1C. If they backport, they say they are, but if and when they backport the CFS, the Creality Filament System, that came out and debuted on the K2 to the K1 series, we'll look into getting one of those and trying that out. We're going to have the Anycubic Cobra S1 Ace coming in and looking at that. And once again, we're looking at these from the ecosystem standpoint, right? How well do they work compared to some of our open source options, right? And, you know, just from a usability standpoint, how easy are they to use? Do they deliver on multicolor everything, right? Do they still require a lot of purge and poop, right? We know that these purge and poop a lot. We also know that we can tweak those settings a lot through various means to reduce the amount of waste. We've also seen a lot of new ways of using that waste, especially if we say, okay, this one's only going to be printing ABS. This one's only going to be printing PLAs. I'll have another one that's just printing ASA, right? Because ABS and ASA are two different things. I can't be guaranteed that they will mix well if you try and like reuse them, like create new filament out of these scraps, right? Take your waste, grind it up, pelletize it, create new filament by blending with clean polymer, right? Virgin polymer. The other thing you can do is take that scrap and melt it down and make sheets out of it, and then make other things out of the sheet material, right? Once again, you don't want to be mixing. I find a spot in our bamboos that we can cut. Found a spot in our bamboos that we can cut. Save 66. Oh, of the waste. Yeah. Well, there's like, rather than doing a purge tower, you can purge into infill. Or rather than doing a purge tower, you can purge into another model that you're going to paint anyhow. So you don't need to do a purge tower, right? You can also go in and modify, I believe it's in the slicer, the different amounts of purge when changing material colors to reduce that waste as well. So I know you've done things, I think the 3D Printing Professor has done some stuff. It's just, there's ways of tuning it. These are tuned by default so that somebody brand new to the hobby can just, it's an easy button. It's load filament and go, right? That's the promise of the bamboo. That's kind of the promise that they're trying to go to with Creality K2 and the CFS system, Anycubic and the ACE system. Those are going to be tuned for reducing customer complaints versus reducing overall waste, right? If I try and limit the amount of purge to reduce the waste coming out of the factory and I'm getting bleed into white, I'm going to get customers complaining. And then we got to go in and show them how to tweak things. If I over purge so that I guarantee I'm going to have clean white, I'm going to have better customer experience and less people are calling my helpline or my support line, right? You had 0.6 millimeter in it. It was awful. It's an awful face to see it just poop. So I edited some G codes. Yeah, Yeah, they're way too rich in purging, and they do that because this was designed for commodity consumer use. This is the closest thing, and I say this just pointing at Bamboo because they started this, right? This is the closest thing we have to the kitchen appliance that anybody should be able to grab and use. And when I say this, I'm not saying an X1 carbon with an AMS. I'm saying X1 carbon with an AMS, P1P, P1S with an AMS, an A1 mini or an A1 with the AMS Lite. This ecosystem has been designed for anybody to grab one. You know, grandparents can use it. They can give it to the grandkids, and grandkids can use it out of the box. Set it up, and you can just make it work, especially if you stay with Bamboo filaments. Everything just updates and works, right? Oh, definitely. Definitely. And you see when I've been doing my prints with this, I'm not doing a purge tower. Why? Well, one, that takes up less space on the build plate, and I might be able to add another item on the build plate. And I'm doing poops, right? But my poops can be tuned, right? Just like anything else, they can be tuned for the purge. But my poops are a little cone about that tall that I kick off and collect. And I can take those little poops and, like I said, collect them and bend them out by material and just melt them down and make sheets that I can then cut out and use for other things, right? It's reduce, reuse, recycle. The best thing to do is reduce the waste. Get rid of purge towers, purge to infill, purge into a separate object that you're going to paint or do something else with anyhow. Reduce the amount of waste up front. Then reuse that waste. Turn it into something else. Collect your, stop throwing away, collect your scraps. Collect your purge lines, your beginning purge lines, your poops, whatever. You can melt that stuff down, press it out. Precious Plastics has more, I'll say, prosumer industrialized size where you can be just a recycler, where you grind it all down and make it into a more reusable product. You've got the injection molders, you've got the sheet presses and stuff like that. So you can then generate a reused material that can be used in other crafts and other projects, right? Whether that's for you or you're just recycling your own waste and then selling either the bulk, you can either sell the bulk waste, sell the bulk ground waste, so that's one more step out of the process. You can also press it into sheets. I would only do that if I'm making something out of the sheets myself, because pressing sheets and then trying to sell that, I don't know how much that success would be. I would be either keeping it as the raw pelletized form that they can use in injection molders or sheet presses or whatever, but you can give that stuff back, because here's the thing. Car parts, right? All your bumpers are injector molded ABS. Ask Nero, he used to do those, right? At 3D Printopia, somebody hit the bumper on my truck. How you hit the bumper on a truck? Don't know. Not like it's hard to see, right? But somebody was nice enough to hit the bumper in my truck, scratched the bumper a bit, and it broke the adhesive bond between the fascia bumper and the what looks like ABS structural backing. right? Just popped off. I can go in there, clean it down, clean it up with IPA, probably slather it with some acetone and go hold it in place for a little bit, and it will rebond perfectly fine. But the majority of those parts, like that backer part that you're never going to be looking at, it's virgin plastic. Why is it virgin plastic? Why aren't we reusing ABS? Or at least scraps from the, like this bumper didn't turn out. Let's go grind that down and bring it back in as industrial waste reuse, recycle it, and reuse it for more bumpers. It's not going to have less structural integrity, especially not when you're melting it down and injection molding it, right? Why aren't we doing more of that stuff, right? And I know it's Josh with Recreator has been doing some other stuff now lately with all the purge poop stuff. So, you know, there are options out there. There are new things coming to market that are allowing people like us to recycle some more of that, or I don't want to say recycle, to reuse that waste and make other things out of it. Yeah, there you go. Create ingots out of it for use on the lathe or milling machines, right? If you can get a consolidated, properly melted ingot, that works great for lathe or milling work, right? Especially as a material that you could use that's low cost, that could validate a recipe, as apparently they call them recipes in CNC machine work, but or a lathe, or either on the lathe or manual milling, you can validate a part that you designed before you go into like full steel, which is slightly more expensive, right? Does the geometry, does my setup work, right? All right, sounds good, Rem Online. But yeah, those would be really cool things. Yeah, as far as being prepped and ready to build on anything today, I need to look at the thing I think we're going to wind up doing as some fillers right now is I say fillers, but I think you guys know what I mean when I say that. We need to rebuild our stealth press, so I need to print the parts to rebuild the stealth press. That'll be a pretty quick stream. We need to do the Ender XY upgrade that's down here. I've got the parts printed out. I just need to make sure that nothing's been changed. If so, I'd reprint those parts. But I think I have everything there to do the triple lead screw upgrade to that. So we'll bring that up onto the bench and we'll do that probably through the week here, Tuesday and Thursday. The IDEX, I'm probably going to start this on a Saturday because those are our longer days. And really I need to get all the stuff off of and around the rat rig. Like I said, we may drag it over here a little bit closer, like in this general area here, so that we can work on it. Because once again, I've got to take the side panels off to be able to get in and work on it a little bit easier. So we'll take the front, the top, and the two side panels off so we can get in there and do what we need to do, because we are going to have to be doing some rebelting and stuff. Yeah, and it'll be easier if I get all the stuff that's currently around it moved out. And the black box is on rolling casters, so we'll just move that around off camera over here. You know, put it in the other way. Um, your failed your failed ERCF is now a bowling pin. Okay, you mean you just basically melted down all the parts and turned it into something else? That's one way to do it. Like I, for one, like I am literally, especially as I start to get into, basically printing for hire and stuff. I am going to start collecting my waste and at least bending it out. So I'm going to go get some larger bends that I can set up and have like ABS, ASA, PLA, PETG that I can throw my failed prints, hoops, and all that good stuff in there and make mental note and like literally may have to put signage like up on the printer or somewhere that says like, hey, when changing filament, dump poop bin, right? Because I did put large poop bins behind those printers now. Separate your e-waste, or separate, not e-waste, but separate your plastic waste. But yeah, we'll be checking out some things. We'll try and do some of these upgrades and stuff. Like I really think putting the beacon on the VZBot, right? That should literally be replacing the part cooling duct mount with one that has the heat set inserts. Because I don't know. I may have actually put the one on there that's already got the heat sets in it. If not, I'll have to replace that piece. And then we can mount the beacon probe on it and get that set up, configured in firmware and get that running. Things like that we should be able to do. The reason I won't like grab that and bring it up here right now is the mill's in the way and everything. So the Annex Engineering K3 and the VZBot, they don't look like big printers. They're heavy printers. So unfortunately, everything I've been getting has been heavy. Like this is really light. This is pretty light. These are light compared to the bigger machines, or like I said, some of the little dense heavy things, because the Annex Engineering has a lot of metal in it. Heavier. Oh, there you go. Convert it. Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to be melting your plastic, do your health and your spouse a favor. Go get a different oven. Get a used oven in the garage, a toaster oven, what have you, that can hit the right temperatures. Get it out of the house. Do not go down and use the oven in the kitchen. Not safe, and your wife's going to get really mad at you. Do not use the dehydrator that your wife uses for food. Go buy a different dehydrator. And once again, put that somewhere else. Mark it as not food safe, used for this. And if you're going to use a dehydrator to dehydrate your silica gel, your filament, stuff like that, go get something dedicated. It doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, there's plenty of people that have gone down to the local Salvation Army, Goodwill, secondhand store, and picked up used dehydrators for that purpose. You don't need to go and buy a brand new, Cabela's big case dehydrator. You got what with the underwire? Food dehydrator? Hey, Shaudell, how's it going? welcome on in. We've just been chit-chatting, quite honestly. I've digressed down to just chit-chatting. I didn't really have a build set up for today, partly because we wanted to do some talking about the projects that we had on planned for 2025 and what you all as the community would be interested in seeing, right? I am going to get more printed projects in here. You got a pretty affordable dehydrator from Amazon. It works pretty good. Exactly. No need to go out and get a top of the line food dehydrator to dry your spools. You know, we could be going through and just looking at, hey, how do we put together our Warhammer 40,000 chainsword here? So let me see if my camera is not freezing. Right. So to kind of give you an idea, this is 3 pieces. There is a 4th piece that'll go on here, and then the handle as well. 4th piece, if I get the right side, would have the kind of curved edge here. So this will be like the main body of the chainsword. Once again, there will be the mechanism, the handle, and everything down here. This kind of gives you an idea of what the chainsword will look like. That would be the one side, and then you'll have the opposing side. I think we probably change color midstream here just because I changed filaments. Right, so these will be the 2 sides that'll go together. We've got the, whoops, that was great, Luke. Get everything lined up and then hit it. We'll have these little tie pieces that go in. And then the whole pieces that you see here are actually going to be going through the mechanism that holds the chain in place. So like these H pieces here, we're going to have carbon fiber rods going through these slots to provide some rigidity for the chain mechanism. And these H slots will get heat set inserts, and they're going to line up. This one will line up like here. And then we'll have the handle. We'll have the shroud for the handle and the other pieces. Where's one of the parts? There's one of the parts. So yeah, we're going to start assembling this as well. We'll have these little pucks. So what we'll wind up doing is this is all PLA, so we'll make sure that we've got nice, good sanded edges here, and that'll reduce any seams. We will gloop the edges, and we'll gloop these slots, and these will basically go in and key everything together and hold everything in place. And I'm not going to try and shove this down in there because it feels like a pretty tight fit. And I have a feeling that once I shove these in there, they're not coming back out. So but what we'll do is I'll build the 2 side shrouds, and I can do that now over the next, some of it came in today and some of it's coming in tomorrow. And I'll have most of what I need to start working on the internal mechanisms for the motors and stuff, right? To get the actual working part of the chainsword going. And then this is more of the aesthetic outer edge. These are files off of Galactic Armory. They were taken down. I have a feeling that they're going to be back up very soon. But this is going to be one of the printed projects that I'm going to do, and I am planning on painting it and finishing out. And this is going to be like displaying some of the work that I can do for doing prints for cosplay and stuff like that I'm going to try and be selling. So this will be something that we'll be building on channel. I've got a Warhammer 40K bolter and storm bolter. I've got some Star Wars stuff that we're going to do. Full set of armor that I need to get done for one of these shows. Quite honestly, it may be displayed at Murph. I'm not going to be putting it on at Murph. Nothing says die like trying to wear a full suit of armor in Indiana in July. Like I think Nero did it for a little bit, and I think he probably lost like 5 pounds that day from sweating. Yeah, I would much rather do it at like 3D Printopia where we're indoors and we have AC. Right? I'm not that much of a glutton for punishment. But yeah, I'll be working on putting this together. I'll probably do it on stream. There's a part of me that's like, do I do it on stream or not? I'll probably do some of the sanding and prep work, not on stream. Right? Just because who wants to watch somebody sand and fit and sand and fit and sand and fit? And then like I said, the whole purpose will be to sand this stuff down so that when I get these two parts together and I put the keyed piece in, we're not seeing that big split, or it's not as noticeable. Because any big split like that, we're going to be putting Bondo putty on, glazing putty in and stuff, and then having to sand that down so that basically disappears. So taking the time to take these two edges and sand them down some before joining them. One, it'll scratch them up to give us more of a mechanical bond. And then two, it will enable us to ensure that we've got the least amount of filling and sanding that we have to do. Because really that's, what do they say? It's 80% prep work and 20% or maybe even 90% prep, 10% paint. If you don't prep the part well enough, the paint's going to look like crap regardless. Right? So that'll be something we'll be working on. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's almost 1 o'clock. This was going to be a short stream where we talked about everything. Let me see who may be live that we can raid out to. And also, Builds has a stream. Let me take a quick check and see if we got a response from like Hector or one of the other people so that we may have a on-the-spot announcement. And nope, no on-the-spot announcement today. So hopefully we hear back from a couple of people over the next couple of days. And so Tuesday we'll have some new information. I have not tried using a 3D pen just because I don't have one. I know Evil Diesel's daughter has one, so there's a possibility there. I also, and I'm not going to use that for like a mechanical chain sword or anything like that, but on the armor pieces, I do have a plastic welder like the one that Westery has, as I sent her one and then bought one for myself. So that'll work on larger pieces like armor plates and stuff like that. I know a lot of people that I've been watching that are doing like body panels, like doing wide body kits and printing out panels that they're test fitting on the car, and then they either use that to make molds or they directly skin over those. They're using plastic welders, or they're using some type of like, was it the EB7000 type of bonding agent to bond them together, and then using just a soldering iron with the flat tip and welding the seam along the outer edge. Sometimes they do both the inner and outer. It's just more sanding and prep work afterwards, the outer side. But yeah, I mean, those are all techniques that can be used. Another thing that you can do, if it's a fine enough line, or to even get rid of layer lines, right? You may have layer lines, or in this case, there's texture on this, right? That was printed on a textured plate, so that now has texture. Either I can use the texture for the print itself, or, and you can see like on this little ridge right here, that this was a supported area, right? So I've got UV resin, or you can just take standard resin. I can take and put a layer of UV resin, brush on UV resin, cure it with a UV light, or set it outside, let it cure, and then that goes a long way of getting rid of that line and interface layer. And all we're looking at there is reducing the amount of sanding we have to do. We're still going to have to sand if we want the best finish, right? But it's more of doing what we can to make those lines go away the easiest way possible. And depending on where, whether you're dealing with a seam or just layer lines or what have you, there are different techniques that you can use. And it's just finding the right technique for a specific project, or a right technique for you as an individual, right? Some people, there's no way they're using UV resin, period, end of story. And that's fine. It just means you're gonna have to use other things. And oh, by the way, Bondo glazing putty, you want a respirator. And I'm not talking about just the paint, little face mask like we were using for COVID. You want the full replaceable filter respirator because of the VOCs. But yeah, just make sure you use what you're comfortable with and use the proper PPE when you're using it. And yeah, but that's kind of it for today, folks. Let me see who's up and running that we can jump over to. Heresy, Ugly Moo's doing some miniature painting. And that's kind of it. We've got Good Enough Painting. We have Ugly Moo. We haven't been over to Ugly Moo in a long while. So I think I'm going to get ready to jump over to Ugly Moo. Speaking of which, I need to eat something too. Need to start getting in a better habit of not streaming so long and not eating for several hours. But thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you coming out and spending your Saturdays with me. It's been a great time doing these with you guys for the last 2 years. I think we've got a lot of good things coming in 2025. And just note that we've got some stuff on the project list. We're going to have more because there's going to be more things announced in 2025. More things are going to come to market. We're going to have different projects that we want to do throughout the year. So, as these things come up, or as you see new projects, we love to beta test stuff. We love to test and build new things that, that are, homegrown designs out in the community and stuff. Bring them up and we'll take a look at them here on channel. We'll talk about them and maybe we'll build some of them. So thank you everybody for your time. I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, we'll set up a raid over to Ugly Moo. We haven't been over to see him in a while. And I have a feeling I'm going to start trying to figure out some painting techniques and weathering and stuff like that here. So thank you everybody for being here. I'm pretty excited. Once again, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing the Streamiversary stream. A lot of great vendors are providing stuff for that. Some of it's worldwide, some of it's US only. Please, those are up to the vendors. I'm just happy that they're able to provide stuff for me to give out to the community and help share, this experience with the community more. So thank you all for being here, and we will see you again on Tuesday. Yes, no weird streams. I actually have to go back to work on Monday. So thanks for being here, everybody, and we will see you guys on Tuesday. Take it easy and have a great day. For those of you watching this on YouTube, once again, you will have an announcement on one side about liking and subscribing to the channel. Please like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 people subscribing to the channel so that we can then go and actually have channel memberships and stuff. And the algorithm's going to provide an option for another video. So thank you very much and have a great day.